Hello and welcome to the Metal Pack Pod, where today we have not only one but two special guests as we welcome Every Can Counts to the show. I'm your host Alex Fordham. We welcome Chris Latham-Warde and Roisin O'Brien, who are programme managers for Every Can Counts in the UK and Ireland respectively. In today's show, we find out more about the great strides the organisation are making to encourage beverage can recycling in Europe, from terrific social media campaigns to frontline action speaking at festivals. Chris and Roisin provide a terrific snapshot into how we can all do more to improve our circularity and find out truly why every can does really count. With the world now transfixed with climate change implications, not least with the recent COP26 summit, be sure to check out our episode about how the beverage can, the most sustainable of packaging containers, is helping to reshape the recycling debate. I hope you enjoy the show, everybody. Morning, guys. Thanks very much for joining me.
Hi, Alex. Great to be on the podcast.
No worries at all. First off, just for our international listeners, I'd be interested to hear a little bit more about Every Can Counts in more detail. So, if you could give me just a brief summary of your guys' endeavours.
Great. Well, my name is Roisin O'Brien, and I run the Every Can Counts programme in Ireland. And also here is my colleague, Chris.
Hello. So I manage the Every Can Counts program in the UK market, and we're actually Every Can Counts has a presence now in 19 countries across Europe. So we've grown a lot. We started in the UK back in 2009, and gradually grown since then. And our mission is quite simple. It's to inspire and encourage people to recycle their empty cans. So we're a not-for-profit communications program funded by the metal packaging industry, the drink can industry, drink can reprocessors and drink can fillers. And that's what we do. We try and get our message out there to inspire people to recycle and also to make recycling easier for people. So tackling the two main barriers really, which is awareness, making people motivated to do the right thing, and making it easier for people to do the right thing.
The program really empowers people to do the right thing with their drink can once they know what it is they need to do or what we're asking of them. And it's wonderful in the sense that obviously we can talk the talk, but it's because we walk the walk. We get out there, we meet people, we give them the facilities to do the right thing with their drink can.
I'm just curious as well. I mean, obviously you have two sides of the pond, so to speak, the UK and Ireland. I mean, are consumers' behaviours fairly similar in both countries? Or is there a bit of a difference with regards to sort of consumer views on metal packaging in both Ireland and the UK?
Oh, that's a good question. I hadn't really thought about that before. I mean, I know in Ireland, we're big can fans in Ireland. there's this whole big bag of cans thing that we're really fond of. Like once the sun's out, it's a big bag of cans. I suppose we're quite similar in the sense that, like, in both regions, people consume cans mostly via multi-packs. So people tend to buy multi-packs of cans in both kind of regions, which might differ from other parts of Europe as well. But I think the can is a really growing format, especially in Ireland, with the pre-mix cans, with like the gin tonics and the cocktails and things like that. So I think the can is definitely on the up in Ireland.
Yeah, and I think it's the same situation in the UK. You know, we're seeing wine come into cans as well as these mixed drinks. It's really growing in popularity, and that's why we've absolutely got to get the message out there and get people to recycle them all.
Absolutely, and I know doing these podcasts and chatting to guys within the industry, we are very much can be seen as a bit of an echo chamber sometimes. I mean, I'll be interested to hear your views really. I mean, consumer views on metal packaging. Is the message of infinitely recyclable metal containers, is that resonating with consumers now, or is there still a lot to be done to increase that understanding?
So, I mean, it's interesting. We did some research last year, actually, last summer, looking into awareness of the fact that metal is infinitely recyclable, or more specifically, aluminium. And we found that in the UK, only 31% of consumers were aware of that fact. So I think there's definitely still work to do there in terms of raising awareness and making people motivated to recycle, just because, you know, they're aware that keeping that material in circulation brings so many benefits. So yeah, I wouldn't say we're there yet, and we've got to take the message, you know, and spread it far and wide to inspire people to do the right thing.
Chris and I are on the ground. We go to a lot of festivals and events across Ireland and the UK, and we speak to huge numbers of people. Like, we have that face-to-face interaction about recycling. And to a certain extent, I suppose the conversation has been focused around one specific packaging type as of late. So to a certain extent, the focus on aluminium and the fact that metal recycles forever has been somewhat shifted. And I suppose that's kind of what's wonderful about going to these events and sharing that message that metal is infinitely recyclable and your aluminium can live forever if placed into the right bin. And this is particularly, I've noticed, prominent among a younger demographic, I suppose, who potentially, have grown up through the era of talking about like plastic recycling and plastic pollution. It's really great to be able to refocus that they can recycle their drink can with confidence.
You mentioned about the fact that the changing demographic of the young consumers. Is there? Do you think there is a real shift for young people really understanding that sustainability message? You mentioned about the fact that 35% of consumers knew the story behind metal packaging. So there definitely is work to do. I mean, how do you think we can increase that number so a larger number of consumers are aware of the benefits of metal packaging and obviously the recyclability involved?
Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? That's the whole purpose of our existence. So I really hope we've got a comprehensive answer for this one. Well, I mean, the way we go about it, and it's all tied up with what Chris kind of led this conversation with our mission. We inspire and empower people to do the right thing with their drink can. So we get out there, we have those face-to-face interactions, we create these beautiful, magical events that leave people feeling like, not only can they do the right thing, not only do they know how to do the right thing, but also they've had a really enjoyable experience, which they're happy to share with others. And it's kind of like ripples in a rock pool afterwards. They go and they tell their friends and their family. And we've noticed the value of these face-to-face interactions above and beyond almost everything else that we happen to do, because year on year, when I return to an event, people come back and tell us our key messages that metal recycles forever, that if you recycle your drink can today, it can be back on the shop shelf in just 60 days time. So that's what we're doing. We're going out into the community to lots of different audiences and lots of different types of events and speaking to people and letting them live through the experience of drink can recycling.
Yeah, and I think, we actually do a lot of work beyond events as well. So the events are definitely a really powerful way to talk to people face to face and get our message across. But we do a lot on social media, digital communications, and this is such a great way to get the message out to a wider audience. So with social media, you've obviously got the opportunity through paid advertising to target specific audiences. And that's a fantastic way to kind of put your messaging across in a way that resonates and get to a target demographic. And also influencers as well. So we're working a lot more now, specifically since the pandemic, with influencers. And that's a great way to, again, get the message out there to new people.
Certainly, a Ball Corporation, they had Jason Momoa from Game of Thrones, didn't they, with their campaign? And I think trying to get into the TikTok generation, and I know in pre-recording, Roisin, you mentioned about the gamer generation as well, and trying to influence in that regard, really. So I think it's just the industry has always been seen as very conservative in its approach, and I think trying to use these modern forms of communication really is key, because young consumers are really on board with this. It's just trying to get that message across in a concise and sort of proactive way.
Definitely. It's such a clever way to tap into a new audience, because we were discussing, I'm in no way a gamer. I've never been a game person. I never owned a Sega or a Nintendo or whatever the new console is these days. But by working with an influencer who is in that sphere and they have an audience, and having them embrace your message and communicate it in their own way, it really speaks to people on their level that we never possibly could.
Speaking about gamers, we actually created an AR filter game last year, which we put out on social media. That was like just creating content like that, appeals to a whole new demographic itself. And we also had a competition called the Can Dunk competition, which really appealed to the kind of TikTok, video creating audience, where we were asking people to recycle their can in a creative or funny way. And it just really helps to make our message engaging and reach new people.
How about the slightly more mature consumer that are often said to be stuck in their ways with recycling habits? We talk about Instagram, TikTok, gaming here. That is obviously a certain type of demographic. Oh, well, I don't know. I suppose there's some over the age of 60 that may use those platforms. Who knows? But I mean, trying to capture the sort of the more mature demographic as well, is that particularly challenging for Every Can Counts as well?
Well, it's actually quite interesting, Alex. When we launched our AR filter last year, it was a game AR filter where people needed to catch cans in an every can counts bin using their head movements. So it was actually quite good fun to play. It's still up on our Instagram. We must play it afterwards. But at first, we noticed the demographics of people who were playing this game were actually older females, which was quite surprising to us because we designed this game thinking gamers would want to get involved. But we soon realized we were offering the incredible prize of what was the incredible prize, Chris?
The PS5.
Yeah, PS5, which is the hottest new console on the market that nobody could get their hands on. And we had managed to get our hands on one. And this was the prize for the competition to enter the AR filter. And lots of parents were entering to win the console to give to their children at Christmas time. So it was brilliant that we're getting this whole new audience that we didn't expect. But then when we got gamer influencers on board, it shifted to a younger demographic there afterwards. So it was funny, the unintended consequence of offering this prize of a PlayStation 5 that we managed to reach an older demographic.
Yeah, and also just to add, I mean, outside of social media, we did provide support to workplaces and organisations across the UK and Ireland. So that comes in the form of free recycling packs, which contain posters which communicate our messaging, but also recycling collection boxes for drink cans. So that's really helping any business or organisation set up drink can recycling points. And I suppose that appeals to the more kind of mature audience to help bring recycling into a workplace and get people on board at work.
Absolutely. And although we don't want to touch upon it too much because I'm sick to the back teeth of talking about the subject, but during the last 18 months with COVID-19, I suppose you have had to adapt as an organisation as well. So it hasn't just been a case of face-to-face interaction with consumers at festivals and events. You've really had to think outside I was going to say the box, but think outside the can, so to speak.
Yeah.
COVID-19 actually gave us an opportunity to have a bit of a rethink and to strengthen our other communications channels. So, I mean, you probably noticed that I particularly love the face-to-face nature of our communications program at events and festivals. I feel like face-to-face is king. But obviously in COVID-19 year, in 2020, we didn't have that opportunity. So we really needed to strengthen our other communication channels. And it gave us the opportunity to really concentrate on social media, to see what works, what doesn't work for us, who wants to engage with us, how we can get to new audiences that haven't previously engaged with us. It allowed us that opportunity to develop the AR filter for Instagram and Facebook and play around with augmented reality to communicate the message of recycling. But also it gave us the opportunity to have a think about what we could do across Europe, across our 19 countries. How can we pool our power, our resources, our skills to do what we do in a better way? And as a result of COVID last year, we developed a joint event across Europe this year. On World Environment Day, we launched the European Recycling Tour 2021, where all countries activated our can recycling backpacks, and we went out and about and we encouraged members of the public enjoying a day out to recycle their drink cans. So yeah, although it was a bit of a dampener at first in every can counts COVID, it did give us a chance to seek out those new opportunities, and we probably wouldn't have had the time to do it were it not for the downtime of 2020.
And it also seems that the power of togetherness with Every Can Count seems more and more important now. So the Europe-wide initiatives, has that been a real strategy during the past few months and also into the future to that you're always going to be better as an organisation if you're doing things on a European-wide basis? I know we've seen Metal Packaging Europe with their aim for 100% beverage can recycling in Europe. So it does seem that there is a real strategy now, particularly in Europe, to pool resources rather than initiatives that are on a single country basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like Roisin mentioned, the European Recycling Tour was really a product of that kind of pooled resources. And going forward, we want to do more of that. Especially with the focus on social media, there's so much there that if you're creating those sort of assets that can be translated into different languages, it just makes sense to share what's being created and run them out across different markets.
Essentially, partnerships is kind of the core of what we do. I mean, Every Can Counts is born of partnerships. It's the industry and drink brands and the recycling industry in Ireland, and it's different partners in each country coming together to fund this program because they believe in one mission, and that's Every Can Counts mission. And even on a local level, I know that Chris has partnerships with organisations in the UK who will use their recycling boxes over there to develop income for community groups or for charitable groups. Over here in Ireland, we have the Tidy Towns groups, who are a group of people in every community town, Roisin in Ireland, who get together to better their community. And they often use our materials to better their area. And then they team up with me for events as well. And I suppose that's kind of like the core of everything that we do. And I just think by working together, we can only be stronger. I suppose it's actually one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals as well, as partnerships to reach the goals. I suppose we really embody that as an organisation.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's kind of made possible by aluminium recycling in particular is because of the value of it. You've got that potential to do social good as well as environmental good. So obviously it makes environmental sense to recycle, but also that money that's being raised through the recycling process can go to fund charities or supporting people in long-term unemployment who can get involved with the recycling activity. There's opportunities there to do good for communities, which is a great benefit and also an extra motivator to recycle.
Is there anything more that they can do to improve drinks can recycling rates or aluminium can recycling rates? I mean, is there any sort of tips or anything that us as an industry need to do better to improve what we do?
Well, I think obviously our focus is on communicating the benefits of recycling. I think anyone who's in a position to do that should definitely kind of take up the challenge and help us out to spread the key messages and raise awareness. But yeah, I mean, we certainly want to work with as many industry stakeholders as possible, and always open to have a chat with anyone interested in working with Every Can Counts or supporting Every Can Counts. So definitely the door's open there to explore further opportunities.
Absolutely. If other organisations believe in our message and believe in what we're trying to achieve, then we absolutely want to work with them in some manner, in some shape and form. So the door's always open, always in the game of the phone if somebody wants to get in touch and get involved.
So, Chris, I just want to move on to DRS, deposit return schemes for our listeners who aren't aware. I just wanted to get your overview on DRS and the changes that are currently happening in Europe and particularly in the UK, if that's okay.
Yeah, so DRS is a deposit return scheme, which is essentially a system where consumers pay a deposit when they buy a can, and they can claim that deposit back, say, for example, 20 pence. They can claim that back when they recycle their can. And this is really being brought in many countries across Europe at the moment to try to increase recycling rates. So I mentioned for cans, but particularly obviously the problem of low recycling rates for plastics and other materials. That's really been a big driver for introducing these DRS systems.
Yeah, so our timeline is Q3 of 2022, and we started consultations around a deposit return scheme in 2020. So they're moving very quick here in Ireland, and it's an ambitious timeline, but they seem to be very determined to make sure that it comes about in that ambitious timeline.
In Ireland, is that going to be a fixed deposit return scheme, or is that going to be variable depending on type of container?
Well, I mean, I don't think this is set in stone as of yet. I mean, the discussion seems to be based around it being a variable scheme based on the size of container, but we're still awaiting the absolute details from the government and also the scheme administrator and details of who the scheme administrator will be. So we're waiting those details. They should come in the next month or so.
And do you both think that introducing the variable DRS scheme into the marketplace, will that only help can recycling? Is it a real factor that will help boost those recycling rates?
So I think it's a tricky one when it comes to cans, because we do have really high recycling rates for drink cans already. So in the UK, the rate is 82% for drink cans. So I suppose you can ask questions as to how much further DRS is going to push that rate up. For other materials, I think that there will be clear benefits to the increase in material return for reprocessing. So yeah, ultimately, using that kind of the money as a motivating factor for consumers is a powerful lever to pull, and definitely is going to drive people to do the right things. And certain people who may not we may not be able to reach with the environmental benefits of recycling will be motivated by that economic factor. So, hopefully we can, combine that motivating factor with the work we're doing and get people to recycle for the right reason in terms of doing the right thing for the planet, but also, also motivated by the economic benefits of getting their money back.
Absolutely. And is it a case of people are happy to recycle, one, if it's easy to them? And I suppose the second point is that, if there's a financial impact on their wallet as well, are they the two overriding reasons why people will recycle? Or is it just a case of a shift in, we talked about that changing demographic who are more sustainably minded? Or is it just a case of you make things as simple as possible for people and then they will do it?
Yeah, I think, we saw a big jump, 6 percentage points in the recycling rate last year when people were locked down at home. And there's no doubt it's easier to recycle when you're at home. So I think that played a big role. And making it easier for people, seems to return better results. I think, people will do the right thing if it's easy enough for them. And I certainly hope that they don't need the money as a motivating factor. People want to do the right thing for the planet ultimately. So, yeah, but I can't deny that throwing in money into the equation, could potentially help and motivate people further.
And is it also a case of, is there anything local councils can do to make things more easier for consumers? Because, something that I'll get onto in a moment, the huge boom we're seeing globally with metal packaging due to maybe the David Attenborough Blue Planet 2 moment a few years ago, and then we've had the pandemic with the consumption at home and just the overall sustainability message that seems to be resonating with consumers. Is there anything else that we can do on sort of a more local level to make it easier for consumers? I know we talked about DRS schemes, but is there anything else? Collection points, for instance, or you guys will sort of have more knowledge of this than me. I'll just be curious to know your views.
I think consistent collections, it's been looked at in various countries across the UK for a long time, but hopefully gradually we're making progress there. But having consistent collections for domestic recycling across the UK would be such a help. Because people get so confused in different areas, what can they recycle in their bins, what can't they recycle, and it seems like a really obvious way to make things easier for consumers, and other countries seem to have done it. So I really hope that we can make good progress there.
Yeah, in Ireland we've introduced a national list of what can be recycled in your curbside bin, which is really useful when people ask questions, especially on social media, that you can point to this one definitive source that absolutely you can recycle everything that is listed here. And also it lists the number of things that people commonly ask questions about, like what do you do with this or that? And it answers all those questions for them as well. And it has been really useful, but consistent communication appears to be key, because still people are looking at what's on packaging, which may have been imported and may not make sense in your local recycling system. So the most ideal circumstances that we have clear communications and a national list of what can and can't be recycled.
And is it a case of, at the moment, I know we've seen that metal packaging is booming, as I mentioned earlier. Is it a case of really trying to take advantage of the prime conditions that we're seeing to take advantage of this growth?
I think the growth in metal packaging is, in part, driven by consumer demand for more recyclable materials. So, you'd think that they're driven to recycle, at least in part, that their drive for these materials is because of their drive that they want to be able to recycle them. So we just need to make it easy for them as possible. And I think the growth in metal packaging does bring us more opportunities, because our message is relevant in more places. So there's festivals where pretty much the only format they have for sale on site is drink cans. So it makes sense for us to be there with our message, because what better opportunity than to speak to somebody with a can in their hand?
Absolutely. And just to summarise, if you could just provide an overview of what plans you as an organisation have got in the next few months, and if there's anything that the industry can do, where to go if they want to get involved with Every Can Counts, would be much appreciated.
So in Ireland, we've had a slightly more cautious approach to opening up. which has been somewhat frustrating looking on at Chris's wonderful events over in the UK and his Can Rainbow. But we have managed to get out there and speak to people on kind of a more sort of conservative level. We launched our first Pixel Can, which is a beautiful mural of 1,911 cans, which we can create a beautiful art piece by painting the ends of the cans. We launched that in Dunleary in Dublin this year. And at present, I'm working with our latest drink brand partner, White Claw, at their pop-up in Dublin City Centre. We provided drink can cage, recycling cage that's shaped like a recycling swoosh, so you can't mistake what this bin is for, where people can recycle their White Claw cans after they've enjoyed them in the pop-up. So we're working on that at present and cooking up some great plans for the end of the year when hopefully more things open up and there's more activities in Ireland.
Yeah, it sounds like an exciting time, and just from an industry point of view, thanks very much for all the hard work you're doing, and it's great to see, and long may it continue. So no, I really appreciate the chat, and I look forward to speaking to you both soon.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Alex, great to chat.
Thanks to Chris and Roisin for providing a fascinating snapshot into the world of Every Can Counts. Their passion and enthusiasm was there for all to see. With the boom in metal packaging due to several issues, not least the ongoing sustainability rhetoric globally, the issue of packaging recycling is becoming greater. Indeed, since this podcast was recorded, we've seen pressure on Coca-Cola to improve its record on plastic packaging recycling. This, of course, is where the humble can comes in. With the attempted drive towards 100% beverage can recycling in Europe, the role of Every Can Counts and its importance will only continue to accelerate in the months and years to come. Please be sure to check out our other episodes if you're new to the show, and please do like us on other social media platforms and really engage with us. Your support is really welcome. We'll be back real soon for another edition of the Metal Pack Pod. You take care now. Thank you very much for joining.